Today's episode, USB charging stations, desktop chargers. I've got some of the best and most interesting units out there. We'll be loading up as many ports as we can to check performance, plus the 1 hour stress test, Ripple, protocols, the lot. From this new 280 watt beast from AOHi, how it stacks up against Anker's offering, UGREEN's 200 watt 8 port. I'll compare it to their two other models. This 800 watt unit you've seen all over the internet, Blitzwolf Cube stacking up against the Mechanic, and a proper test of the SABRENT 8 port, plus two new Shargeek Powerbanks to help me test all this stuff. It's all the facts, none of the faff, coming right up. Okay, so as usual, I've spent 2 to 3 weeks in between my normal day job researching, testing, and putting the data together on my website. I purchased the UGREEN myself, but I'd like to thank AOHi, SABRENT, Banggood, and AliExpress for helping me get together all the other items. To counter any bias, I focus heavily on testing and include as many competing brands at the same time as possible. Okay, to test out all these charging stations, I'm going to need my A-torch plus a load of high power power banks, starting with my mini power station 140 watt, my 100 watt DIY 21600. Plus, I've got this new unit sent in by Sharge. It's a 100 watt 25,000 milliamp hour power bank with a retractable USB-C cable, carry handle cable, another 2 on the top, tracks charge cycles. Checking out the protocols and the power delivery looks pretty much as expected. It's not a bad unit. But my favorite is this one. This is the Shargeek 24,000 milliamp hour. Seriously cool design. You can see the board, obviously. You can also see the Lycian 21700 cells in there. Pumps out 140 watts from either USB-C port. Goes for about $100 US on Amazon. Everything you see here is going to be linked down below, by the way. Coupons and all that kind of stuff. All right, first up, the AOHi 280 watt 6-port desktop charger. So after the last episode where I tested the most powerful USB wall chargers, it was the AOHi MagCube, which is this one, which came equal first with the Anker Prime, which is this one. Since then, I was contacted by AOHi for the first time, and they asked if I'd like to try their latest unit, which is this beauty. Now, this is a very ambitious charger. It started as a Kickstarter, but now sold for $169 US on their website. I think there's a coupon that brings it down for a short while to $149. Pushes 240 watts through one USB-C for high-end laptops, but what I'm interested in is the 2x 140 watt capability. That means charging 2 MacBook Pros or 2 big power banks simultaneously at 140 watts very, very fast. It's got 4 USB-C ports and 2A on the side here. There is an app, but it's optional, and you can skip sign up, which is good. I've got 2 minor grumbles though. First, it needs the app for Wi-Fi to set the time and the date. Second, a few people, including myself, experienced an issue where only on the first boot up, it wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi. Just switching it off and on again fixes that for good, but you'll probably have wasted 20 or 30 minutes staring at screens like this before you realize. Checking out the protocols, it's packed with PD 3.1, 140 watt, EPR, 240 watt, Ripple of 43 at 96 watts load, testing the first port 130 watts on the Shargeek Powerbank, and the second port 133 watts on my mini power station. So that's 2x 140 watt connections, swapping over the ports. The first one doesn't stop, which is nice. So let's load up all of the ports, all 4 USB-C ports, and we've got 21 watts, 65 watts, 41 and 131. That's 264 watts out of a theoretical 280 watt max. It is a pretty powerful charger. Link to this below in the description and comments. While filming, I did get an email with a 15% off code for any AOHi product on their official website. I'll put that below with the others too. We'll stress test this in a minute, but first, let's check out some of the other ones. And a quick reminder to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. So an alternative to the AOHi 280 watts, well, the closest seems to be the Anker 250 watt charging station, which is a similar price and style. It's a very nice customizable display being the main difference. Otherwise, it's fairly standard with just a single 140 watt port. The rest are 100 watters. Looking at the specs, I'd say the AOHi is the more attractive unit, but there's also the 500 watt UGREEN, which is close, quite a bit more expensive though, and still doesn't do 2x 140 watts out. Okay, next, the Blitzwolf 420 watt 8-port charging station. I bought Blitzwolf stuff for about 15 to 20 years now. It's usually cheap but decent. This one surprised me though. It's actually quite powerful, especially for the €40 or $50. Comes with PD 3.1, really bright, sharp display. It feels solid, much more solid than the Mechanic. The Mechanic weighs about half as much, I'd say. The ripple's good on this one at 31 millivolts. Protocols didn't show the 140 watt PD 3.1, but that's not uncommon and we know that it's there. Checking out the single port output, we get 134 watts on the Shargeek Powerbank. Plugging a second device in and we get another 100 watts at the same time. That's the best performance I've seen of any low-cost charger. 234 watts total. Loading up 5 devices, we get 126 watts, 62, 30, and 31 across all 4 ports, which I thought was really impressive. Now, we're all grown-ups here, so obviously it's not going to do 420 watts, and big surprise, the 800 watt isn't 800 watts either. Let's see how it goes during the stress test before I pass judgment. Alrighty, next is the Bakey YMX 810 port charger sent in by Banggood. No doubt you've seen this all over the internet and wondered what the deal was. Goes for about $32.99 US. It does claim to have a whole bunch of certifications, FCC, UKCA.
Man, don't bullshit me.
Also shows 2 140 watt output ports, the rest being 100s, 65s and 30s. Checking protocols, PD 3.1, EPR, PPS, and Quick Charge 5. That's pretty good for $30. Ripple is okay at 66 millivolts. It just means the power filtering isn't quite as clean, though it's still well within the power delivery specification. Testing single port output, and we do get a good 132 watts out from the first port. Now for $35, that by itself is pretty darn good. What happens when we plug in a second device? And there you go. So the first one stops charging, negotiating what to do with the second one. And once the second one starts up, we get 45 watts and 65 watts split between them. So it's sharing 110 watts or so between the ports. Important to know this stuff before you go and buy and are disappointed. I've added a column in our data table for single port maximum, but also dual port maximum. In this case, 45 watts and 65 watts. So you can take a look and know what it's going to do before you buy. All right, let's continue and load it up with 5 devices. In the end, we get 65 watts, 45 watts, 29, 11, and 11. Total of 160 watts. If I go for a 6th item, it's just going to split those further. Okay, next up, this beast of a UGREEN model, the Nexode 280 watt 8-port desktop charger. It's very weighty, giving it a high quality feel. The cable that it comes with is very high quality. Claims it can do 100 watts from any of the first 3 Type-C ports. The other ports do a much more modest 30 and 15 watts, 75 US bucks for Prime members. It's about 90 Australian dollars now. Seems like a solid option just for most people needing a standard desktop charger, but let's get into the testing. So 11 millivolts ripple, which is really, really clean power. Whoever designed the filtering on this didn't cut any corners. Checking a single port output and we get 95 watts into the Shargeek Powerbank. If we plug in 2 devices at once, I think that's a decent result. Plugging in 5 devices at once and we get 28 watts, 43, 40, 15, and 64. So it's still giving the first device quite a bit. All up, that is 190 watts out of 200 watts maximum, 75 bucks US, 85.90 Australian. We'll see how it goes in the proper stress test in a minute, but for now, I'm pretty happy with that one. Now, as for an alternative to this, there is the 300 watt UGREEN Nexode charging station, the model up from this one. Don't get me wrong, it looks like a good unit, but I chose against it because all it really does is it takes one of these 100 watt ports and converts it into 140 watt, but then gets rid of 3 other ports while doubling the price from 75 US dollars to 140 US dollars for Amazon members. In Australia, it's 180 Aussie bucks. That pricing is heading well into AOHi 280 watt territory, and I think I prefer that for the money, or just spend 75 bucks on this. So one of the first cube chargers I ever saw was this Mechanic GPower 160 watter, which came out a few years ago. They've got an updated 200 watt version now, and to be fair, this is an older unit that's still on sale. I'm not sure how well it's going to compare with the others, but we'll see how it goes. It's got a 15 watt wireless charger on top, 4 USB-C 100 watt ports along the front, and 4 USB-A. Nice big screen with the readouts. Does feel quite a bit lighter than the Blitzwolf though, to be honest, almost like an empty box, and it's also more expensive than the Blitzwolf at 75 US dollars, though Mechanic is a decent brand within the soldering gear community, so you're paying a premium for that. Checking the ripple, and it is very smooth, 21 millivolts, with the second smoothest out of a lot of them, nothing unusual in the protocols. Testing the output, and the first port we get 99 watts, which is pretty good. plug in a second port, and the first port stops. Now, it's not a super powerful charger, this one, just 160 watts claimed, so once we plug in 2 devices, it splits 100 across both, so 50 watts on the 2 ports. Plugging in a third device, it momentarily goes up to 140 watts combined for some reason, but then drops back to 100 total. A bit weird. Plugging in all 4 Type-C ports, and we get 25 watts by 4. I think in this case, it was a really good product when it came out. There just wasn't as much competition, but now there's just better products on the market. I mean, the Blitzwolf is only $50 and it completely outdoes this one. All right, let's do the stress test. Now, to be clear, what happens in this test is not what's going to happen when you're charging normally. So in this test, I'm intentionally making the chargers run at full power for as long as I can using the A-torch until they shut down because they're overheating or until they reach 1 hour. In normal use, when you're charging, they wouldn't shut down. They just reduce their power output to cool themselves down, but we don't want that. We want to see how long they'll go only at full power to find the best possible unit. I'm also running them in hard mode at 110 volts with this step-down transformer. 110 volts is inefficient compared to 220 to 240 volts as used in Australia, my country, and many others. It means the charger has to work twice as hard when it's running on 110 volts. Okay, first up we'll do the AOHi 280 watt. Now to max this one out, I'm going to run 2 140 watt outputs, one to the A-torch and the other to the Anker Solex power station. Though as soon as the Solex turned on, it decided to pull 146 watts, crossing the 280 watt threshold, causing it to shut down. In normal conditions, the AOHi would compensate itself, but since the A-torch won't let it, all I could do was manually compensate, bringing the A-torch down to 133, 134 watts, and that keeps us under that 280 watt limit. And off she goes. I didn't expect it to last for more than 20-30 minutes, but to my surprise, it just kept going and easily passed the 1 hour mark. At 110 volts, that is pretty damn good. At this point, while it was still red hot, I decided to experiment, cranking up the wattage and confirming it really does do 280 watts. The only one in the whole group where the marketing really does match the capabilities. Okay, next up the Blitzwolf. So initially I ran this one at 2 by 100 watts to keep things simple, so outputting 200 watts total. To my surprise, it hit the 1 hour mark easily, blasted through it. For a charger that costs €40, 50 US bucks, it's surprisingly good. Internally, it seemed to settle around 82 degrees Celsius or 180 Fahrenheit, which is normal, but the external hotspot, which you see on all chargers, did get a bit hotter than usual. It was also 82 degrees Celsius. Now, it's fairly common for high-powered chargers to reach around 75 degrees Celsius or 170 during high sustained loads. 82 is the hottest I've seen so far, so I wanted to really stress test this and see what it would do after a few hours. So next time I ran it at 140 watts and 100 watts, and off it went. After 2 hours, nothing eventful happened, and the temperatures never exceeded that 80 to 82 degrees. They actually stabilized, meaning it can probably keep going on and on like that for pretty much forever. At 110 volts, that's actually a really good result. Okay, next up the UGREEN 200 watt. So the best I could get from this was about 20 minutes. Actually more like 25 minutes because I had to mess around a bit before the timer started. To be honest though, 20-25 minutes is actually quite normal. Many of the wall chargers we tested in previous episodes only lasted about 20-25 minutes at 110 volts. And that's because most phones, tablets and power banks don't want high power for any longer than that because they themselves start to overheat. Definitely made for the average person, not the enthusiast, and that's okay. Okay, next the Bakey 800 watt from Banggood.com. Cheapest of the lot. I'm just going to run a single 140 watt on this one since that's the most we could get no matter how many ports we ran anyway. And at that much, it lasted just over 39 minutes, which is not too bad. Didn't notice until later though, the USB-C port actually hit 96 degrees Celsius or 205 Fahrenheit. Thankfully, its internal safeties did work, and that's what caused it to turn off at 30 minutes. So that is a good thing, but yeah, it doesn't like to be run too long at full power. All right, so what have we learned? Well, the AOHi was definitely the top performer, smashing other units in raw power. If you need to charge 2 140 watt devices at full speed without overheating, this is the unit. Really impressive. Easy A+, link to their official website below. They emailed me a 15% off coupon last week. I'm not sure if it's still active, but it's worth trying. That should work on any AOHi product on their official website. So good time to buy maybe the MagCube from last episode or a cable or the future 280 watt. If you don't need that much power though, the SABRENT VOLTIK would be my next pick. It's got no problem pushing two 100-watt devices virtually forever, staying cool at just 55, 60 degrees Celsius. Lots of ports, not expensive, does well when you load it up with lots of different items. UL listed, US designed. Sadly not available to Australia, which sucks, but if you're from the US or Europe, this one's a goer. I've asked them if I can get a coupon or a discount code, so if I get one, I'll put it next to the link below. Next, the Blitzwolf 420, also impressive, giving a really strong output of 140 watts and 100 watts, two devices at the same time. For €40, 50 US bucks, it's unbeatable in terms of watts per dollar. Passed the 1 hour stress test and just kept going with the temperature stabilized. It did get extremely hot externally though, just in this area here at 82 degrees, which isn't great, but most of them get around 65 to 75 when under the stress test, so not a lot different to that. Ultimately, availability is the issue with this one. Banggood sells the model with European certifications. I've seen a US model elsewhere. For Aussies though, I can't recommend it because it doesn't have the CTIC RCM compliance mark. The UGREEN 200 watt was classic UGREEN. Boring, but it worked. I'd hoped for better performance when driving two 100 watt outputs, but its multiple port performance was actually really good, very clearly high quality in materials and workmanship. If you just want something safe, especially for a family charger that isn't expensive and does the job, this is a good safe bet. It's also much better value than the 300 watt and 500 watt versions. The 800 watt Bakey unit from Banggood. Now we're all grown-ups here, so we know it's not doing 800 watts for $32 US, but looking purely at performance, single port does 140 watts. That alone is good for the price. Multi-port performance isn't bad, 65, 45, 29, 11, 11. On paper, best bang for buck there is out there. Should you buy it? For regular people, no, I'd not recommend it. I always worry about safety with cheaper chargers. This did provide decent performance though, so we'll open it up and look inside at the components in the future. For a maker that knows what they're doing, who needs a lot of power for cheap, this could be a good option. And finally, the two Shargeek Powerbanks. I only did a quick test, but they perform pretty well. The Hyperpower gets great Amazon ratings and is their newest. I like this and I'm happy to recommend it. The Shargeek is my favorite though, but it comes with an asterisk. It rates well in Europe, but not in the US. Looking at feedback, several people mentioned failures within the first year. You see those complaints though across all power banks on Amazon. Reading between the lines, a few people admitted to dropping it. One guy off his table and he was surprised that it didn't work. I think that's the clue. If you compare Shargeek with the UGREENs or even Charge's own newer model, the difference is obvious. All other power banks are plastic with these rounded edges, whereas the Shargeek has got these metal end caps and this very sharp edge which would hit hard on any fall, sending shockwaves through the board to the screen when dropped. And I think that's why their newer model is much more conservatively designed, but that's the price you pay for form over function. Ultimately, things that look nice need a little bit of extra care. I'll be using both of these in the future USB-related episodes so we can track how well they're doing. But for now, that's all I've got for today. I hope you found this useful. Make sure you subscribe so you can see future episodes. And as always, be cool, be kind, and I'll see you next time.